instead of just saying, oh, no, I don't think so, you can actually use the Logrank test to do more like a numerical comparison and get a p-value, so that instead of saying, I suspect that there's no difference, you may be able to say, okay, the Logrank test says there's no difference, and here's the p-value. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for all when we're doing hypothesis testing, we always have the null hypothesis and the alternative hypothesis. So our null hypothesis is that there's no difference in the survival between the two groups. And while our alternative hypothesis is that indeed there's a difference in the survival. So we're going to use this self-diff or survival difference command. And we're still asking it to just basically fit the same data. Look at the time to the event, look at whether the event happened, and then stratify by gender. This is the data that we're asking you to look at. And so what this is going to do is that it will allow us to go beyond, and I suspect there's no difference, to actually saying, okay, I've done a statistical test, and this is what it is. So what do you say here? What does this remind you of, by the way, this output?
Square.
Chi-square, yes. This completely reminds me of when we used to calculate chi-square by hand, and you will have like a 2x2 contingency table, and you have the observed and the expected, right? So it's a chi-square type test, and here it tells you that the p-value is 0.2. What do you say? What do you conclude now that you've done a statistical test to see if there's a difference in survival? What do you say?
So there is okay. We now fail to reject the null that there is difference in survival between the female and the male residents.
Say that again.
We will now fail to reject the null, and we infer that there is no difference between the dropout from medical practice survival in the study between the male and the female gender.
I agree with you, Abbas. Is there anybody who does not agree with that? So our p-value is 0.2. We fail to reject the null hypothesis, and we then conclude that there is indeed no difference in the survival between the two groups. So now we've